I just saw an article talking about the U.S. Institute of Peace. Apparently, there's a kerfuffle over uh, who's in charge of it. Is the president, is the executive branch in charge of it, or is it independent, or is part of Congress? And there are a bunch of federal employees that are part of this Institute of Peace, U.S. Institute of Peace. It's hard to express how much I don't care. And I don't think you should either, and here's why. It doesn't matter how many institutes of peace are established the world over with politicians willing to participate with these agencies and negotiate and mediate, end of international conflicts, yada yada, blah blah blah. It doesn't mean anything if we still have young and middle-aged men who are willing to do violence for a paycheck. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as long as you have young men pumped full of stories of patriotism and duty and have had their natural instinct to protect perverted into being an instrument of violence for big business and government. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The U.S. Institute of Peace. Okay, we have the biggest military in the world, and we use it on the regular. It doesn't matter that there's a U.S. Institute of Peace. It doesn't matter if there are 7 or 27. It doesn't matter. As long as you have men willing to do whatever someone else tells them to do, so long as there's a paycheck at the end of the week or month. I'm not particular. Neither are they. That's the problem, right? If you're willing to farm out your violence in exchange for a paycheck, you are not a good human being. You aren't. You need to reassess. And if you have people in your lives who are involved in this vocation of violence for money, have a talk with them. Like a real serious sit-down talk. Say, honey, I'm really concerned that you're killing people for a living, or at least supporting the war machine that does it. And I'd like to find you another vocation that respects your manhood and it provides for the family and gives you a skill and knowledge that can move you forward in life, something that will, at the end of, or towards the end of your career, give you satisfaction, be able to be a job that you can do without destroying your body anymore, and something that you can mentor people at and have a good quality of life for yourself and for others, supported by your decision not to kill people for a living, right? Don't kill people for a living. That's the U.S. Institute of Peace. The greatest thing about this article was the photo they showed of the front of the building of the U.S. Institute of Peace. It looks like a freaking prison, right? Like the whole idea that we should need an Institute of Peace is ridiculous, because it means that our men have gotten so far out of kilter that they feel violence is an acceptable vocation. It isn't. There are lots of meaningful jobs out there that serve people and help people, save people's lives. There are myriad professions where you can have a meaningful impact without picking up a gun and pointing it at people who never did you any harm. There are lots of them. Everyone else is doing it. I know you have a calling to serve, so channel that into actual service rather than violence. That's it.